Family, how's everybody today? I hope you're well. It's Monday morning. We'll talk about this whole George Soros Trump thing and gold, baseball. Great day yesterday in baseball, 6-3. We talked about week 1 NFL and week 1A, 1B college on the weekends. If you have any questions on that, please feel free. I'm fine and hope all of you are fine. And a second. All right, just 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So let's look at the gold price as of now. Silver is making a comeback. 23.94 and silver's 29. And again, there's a big derivative at 7 o'clock and down to 23.91. So really, don't get flustered. This is not the gold price going down. This is simply they bought derivatives that probably end at 23.91 and or they sold them and then they're trying to buy them back. And that's all this mess is. This is not anybody selling. This is not consolidation. This is not profit taking. There's no profit to be took. Nobody in their right mind sells gold when it's about to go to the moon. So this is strictly derivatives. This is strictly paper, which is what I try to explain to you to help you understand what the hell's going on. So you get nervous. Oh, gold's going down. Nobody wants it. People selling. Is it because Trump got shot? Is it this? Is it because Biden stepped down? No, it's got nothing to do with anything. It's the dollar going out because they're printing too much of it and everybody's buying gold and they want to buy it cheap. So that's one reason they do the derivatives is to set the price. But comex is just simply price setting. It's so they can keep the price cheap so they can buy it. Wouldn't it be nice to get a mantle card for $100 that's worth $60,000? This is all Ponzi scheme. This is all made off, and it's fucking ridiculous. And soon it will be over, and we will get to a free market price, I hope. So this is an example of communism versus capitalism. Or socialism, same thing, or fascism, Hitler, Stalin, take your choice. This is when the government controls the price. That's what this is. This is government price control. But if the market's too strong, it blows up. So they really want gold at like 2,000, but there's too much demand from China, India, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and all these countries that are wanting to get out of the dollar. Therefore, it's blowing it up. But now they realize if they take delivery, it blows it up. They're taking delivery. It's just about blown up. Yeah, I know. It's like the Titanic. It's sinking, but it doesn't sink like that. It's a big ship. But this is communism or socialism for you socialists who think it's how great socialism is. This is price fixed by the government. But we don't want government price fixing anything. We want the market, us, price and setting the price. So when we buy and sell goods on a free market, like the Montana rookie at 110 or the Mantle cards at 70,000, that's the free market setting the price. That's what we want. If the demand's there, the price goes up. If it's limited, a Mantle PSA 9 is limited. A Montana PSA 10 rookie card is limited, and there's huge demand, as is Rolex. That is free market pricing, and that gives you the true value of Rolexes and Mantle cards, and it should give you the true value of gold and silver. But it doesn't, because this is price fixing. This is communism and socialism. So you little communists and socialism who think it's so wonderful to have socialism, this is what you get. Your prices aren't real. They're fixed. So you don't know the value of anything. So you can't go be in a market. The market doesn't work. And that's why you collapse all the time. You have to have free markets to have an economy run efficiently and properly. You can't fuck around with the price. So the perfect example of price fixing, right? They're doing derivatives to keep the price down. That's not free market. That's the government, JP Morgan, trying to set the price, trying to lower the price. And all it does is allows, so China's going, oh, great, we'll buy it at 23.93 instead of 24.93. I mean, this dropped 100 points since Thursday. It was all derivative. And what it was, the sad part is they were selling the derivative at 24.80. They sold the derivative, which means that's the selling price. This is the buying price. So they're buying second. So they're making all kinds of money on this phony derivative bullshit price setting. And then they'll say it's profit taking. It's consolidation. It's not profit taking because it's not free market. There's no way it's profit taking. Nobody's selling their gold except for, mom and pop taking an ounce to go to the gold store to sell it because they need to pay rent. Feel bad for them that they have to sell it now instead of when it's much, much higher. But that's why I'm being careful with my money. I don't want to start selling gold at these cheap prices. So I have enough money to not do that. Anyway, so that's what's happening. That's what price fixing is. This is communism, and the one who benefits is, of course, the government and the banks, which are the one and the same. And that's the thing. This has nothing to do with Trump getting shot or Biden stepping down. This is just derivatives. This is JP Morgan selling derivatives and then buying them back at a cheaper price. And it's about to blow up, and that's what we're waiting for. This way we get a real true price of gold. That's why I bitch about these people that say, well, in 2008, the price of gold was this or the price of gold was that. They have no fucking idea the derivative price of gold, but it's all fixed in paper. So who gives a fuck? That's not real. That's got nothing to do with the market. So this is not free market. This does not mean you buying a ton of gold and watching the price go up. Nothing to do with it. This is them wanting the price cheaper. So people go, oh, gold's really not a good investment. Look, it goes down. Yeah, but it's not a free market price. So it keeps people out, but I don't know. So it keeps you in the stock market, I guess. Which gets me to a story. So I'm on the bike yesterday. I go to the pool and then I get on the bike. And I'm watching the end of the Tiger game. There's a guy next to me, a communist. Keep getting these communist people. They're so fucking stupid. So we're watching the game, and I'm not saying I'm just watching the game. I've never seen the Tigers actually on TV because they're on the fucking whatever networks, Bally's or whatever. Since I don't have cable, I got Spectrum internet, but I don't have Spectrum cable TV. It's too fucking expensive. Now, can I afford it? Yeah, but it's not worth it. I don't want it. I have the antenna and I got Roku and I get between Tubi and Pluto and the regular TV channels. I'm fine. So I don't need it. I just want to watch sports on YouTube and watch my gold on YouTube. So I really don't need these channels because it's bullshit. It's a waste of time and money, which I don't really like to waste. All right. So what we have here is he starts talking to me. We start talking about baseball or he makes a comment and I says, I don't care. I have the over. I was over 8. It was 5-4 already at the 6th inning. So I was over when it was 5-4. That's how it ended. And I said, I don't care. I have the over. So he sees I gamble or whatever. And we start bringing up how baseball sucks now, or at least I bring it up. This all these injuries and all this 5-day and 100 pitch count, it's ruining the game because there's not enough good pitchers. So it's very hard to bet because it's so inconsistent. Although I did see the guy on Kansas City pitched the complete game yesterday. He pitched 9 innings. Seth Lugo. I was like, wow, 9 innings. I didn't know that happened anymore. So amazing how he got through the lineup the 3rd time and didn't give up a run. Oh my God, that's insane. So we're talking, and then of course the conversation goes to gold. I says, well, I protect myself with gold. And he goes, he starts talking Keynesian economics on me. And I go, I don't talk Keynesian economics. It's just stupid. It's wrong. And I don't want to do it. And he was more of a macro approach than a micro. I'm more micro. I'm more individual what's going on than the whole world because the individual affects the whole world. That's how it works. So he's talking and I'm like, I start, he says, well, I don't read Ayn Rand. And I'm like, he sounded like my brother, which is why I don't talk to my brother. Oh, this is that, or, you're a right-wing guy. And I try to explain, no, I'm not. I'm for freedom, and financially, I'm an Austrian economist. It's not left or right or conservative or liberal. It's Austrian economics. It's Adam Smith. So he starts talking Ayn Rand, and then he makes a comment about gold. Oh, you're one of these gold guys. And I said, well, it's the only way out. The dollar's collapsing. And he says, how can you go on gold? There's 350 million people here. Well, that's okay. First of all, it's not like everybody has gold. They make the gold into paper. So this becomes gold back, right? So you got 20 trillion of these and, no infinite. All you need to do is raise the gold price. So if you made the gold price 20,000 an ounce, you could print enough money to cover the 350. So that's your excuse. There's 350 million people, and therefore there wouldn't be enough gold for everybody to have. This is how incredibly. So you just told me how stupid you are. Well, we're not going to carry ounces. We're going to carry dollars. But the $21 trillion floating around the U.S. and the $130 trillion floating isn't good either. It's too much. So that's his excuse on gold, that if we went on the gold standard, there's too many people to have gold. So therefore, that's not a good answer, the gold standard, because there's not enough people, or there's too many people. There's not enough gold. Well, let's see. You got 250,000 tons of it at 32,000 ounces a ton, if it's all above board, but I'm sure a lot of it's in these boat crashes. If that number is right, 250,000, and I don't know how they got to that number, but let's say it is, times 32,000 ounces. It's not like everybody in the world gets, I ounce of gold, and then we go on the gold standard, it's paper money, right? But you got some with the warships in the 1800s when they got sunk, the Spanish Armada or whatever. So there are a lot of gold probably on the ocean floor, right? There's a company that actually excavates them and uh, pulls the gold out. There's a shipwreck, and they go down and they grab the gold and bring it up. And anyway, so that's what happens there. So you're trying to grasp this idiot conversation. Like, we don't all need an ounce of gold, but the paper. And if the ounce is 20,000 or 30,000 an ounce, and you can make so many trillions of dollars, then everybody will have the dollar will be backed by gold. That's all it is. It's not everybody has a coin. Look at BRICS. That's what they're doing. 40% of their money will be gold backed, not 100%. There's not enough gold, but that makes the dollar gold back, and it makes it so they can print enough money for all these countries. That's why these countries need gold. And I hear India is buying gold too. Need gold to have the gold backed currency, but the gold backed currency will be dollars, not you don't need the ounce of gold. So that went way over his head. I says, well, where's your money? He says, it's in my pension, it's in my 401k, my his mutual fund. And I said, well, it's going to be worthless with all that's happening. And he's, oh no, it'll be fine. And then I said, well, did you ever hear of the Romans? I bet if you lived in the Roman time, you would have thought you'd have been fine too. You wouldn't have thought the Romans would have went out. And I said, as soon as they took the gold and silver out of their coins, they had heavy inflation and they went broke. And you could just see him turning white because he had no defense to that. So this is what the socialist, communist, all the Keynesians running around in America are so stupid. This is what they think. Oh, well, there's not enough gold for everybody, so we can't go gold standard. We can't go out because we're the U.S. dollar. We're the main currency. This is not after the petrodollar went out, not after heavy inflation. They don't understand. See, this is the problem where they're all fucked. They think inflation's raising prices, so therefore we raise interest rates, slows the economy, prices drop. Inflation's dropped because they think inflation is raising prices. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme the government pulls on everybody. And because they don't let you teach it, nobody understands it, so nobody knows it. So they think rising prices is inflation. Oh, and we can get inflation down. No, it's printing money. And no, you can't get it down. You've printed the money. Once you've printed the money, you've printed the money. Your only out is if you back the money by gold or come out with new money backed by gold. But you fucked this money. This money is gone. It's printed to death. And this is what the biggest problem that I see is explaining that and convincing people, the Keynesians and the communists, socialists, same thing. Socialism and communism is government control. Market setting the prices. It is not capitalism, which is basically free market. The price of gold should be what the real price is. The price of the Montana Rookies 110 is the real price of the card. You know the price of the card. You know the price of the Rolex. It's $62,000. That's the real price of it. So you walk away with you don't have a real price of gold or silver. So that's what makes it hard and frustrating. You don't really have that price. So therefore, you don't know what it is. And so people see it low, go, oh, it doesn't have a value. It's not going to go up. And what we're betting on is that we will go to a free market price because gold, China and Russia and BRICS are coming out with the gold-backed currency. And a double is that the dollar's going out because you've printed too much of it. And you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't, once you've printed it, it's printed. There's nothing you can do. There's too many dollars out there. You can't get them back in. You can't get them back to the bank. So understanding the dollar's going out and losing its value, and it's lost 99%. I say 100, but okay, 99. You guys want to get picky. So with 99% of the dollar gone, this is the point. Well, at least everybody has dollars. Yeah, but they're all junk inflated dollars. They're not worth anything. Go to Germany, go to France, 1795, go to Britain after World War One. They had to pay for all the weapons for World War II with their gold. Go to Venezuela, go to Zimbabwe now, go to Sri Lanka now, go to Greece now, Turkey soon. They're all inflating their money. It means it's worthless. Why do you think? Do you think when Zimbabwe's inflation was like 50,000%, it was prices for no reason? They just decided to mark all their goods more expensive. So let me see. I'm Zimbabwe. You know what? This was $25. Now I'm going to make it 20,000. You think they just did that to make a profit? No. They did it because the dollar's value was worthless because these idiots kept printing and printing and printing. And then Zimbabwe finally said bye-bye. And then they came out with the ZIG, which is a gold-backed currency. Well, why would they go to a gold-backed currency? Because they know that's the only answer. It's not about prices. It's about the value of your dollar. And the value goes when you print too much of it. Now, how do I talk to these pretty educated guy on the bike next to me who's got his money in the stock market? Let's say he's got 500 grand in there, feeling smug. I'll be fine. And I said, well, good luck to you. As I was leaving, I said, well, good luck to you. You're going to be broke. And his response was, I'll see you in the soup line. And I go, no. I'm not in stocks. I'm in gold. You'll never see me in the soup line. I'll own the soup line. I won't be in the soup line. And that's the part he doesn't understand. I'm out of stocks. You're an idiot. You're in stocks. Stocks are collapsing because the inflation makes the value of the dollar go down, makes the businesses go down. But since it's worldwide, it's not like Apple's going to sell iPhones to Germany. They're not going to have money for them, or Turkey or China or Russia. I mean, there's sanctions. You can't even buy them there. So this is the problem you have. This is going to be global because all the dollars are going to collapse. So there goes the companies are going to collapse. So how much is the value of your stock? It's going to go to zero or $2 or $5. I mean, this is the part that nobody talks about, is the dollar going out. Oh, the debt. This is my favorite. Oh, the debt will go to $50 trillion in 10 years. No, it won't, because the dollar won't be around. This is the part people miss. The dollar will be out. The dollar is being printed every day to pay for the government spend. There's a good video I'm going to show that kind of explains it, except for the guy doesn't really get the conclusion. But it shows what the debt is. We print treasuries because we need to spend more than we get in. So if we get in $100 and you got $200 in bills, where do you get the other $100? Well, you print treasury bonds, and then you need somebody to buy them. You get that money to buy this other stuff. In this case, it's the military, it's Social Security and Medicare, it's building roads and all the government, paying all the government employees and their pensions, and the defense spending, and they need more for Secret Service and the whole thing. So that's what happens. So their spending is more than their income because more people are retiring. They're not making a lot of money. So when I'm working and I make 100 grand, I pay more in tax. But when I'm not working, you're not getting any tax from me. And so the tax burden then goes down, and but their spending keeps going up. And since you're inflating, it's even more and more and more. As you inflate, now you raise my Social Security 3 or 4% or 5%. Where do you get the money to do that? Well, you don't have the money in the first place. You're just printing it out of thin air, which is the danger. You can't just print something. That's the problem. You can't print dollars out of thin air. You can only do it if it's productive. Like if somebody takes a loan. So if you got all this money in loans that you need to pay, so people go into business and people buy cars and houses, and it expands the economy, then you can print dollars up to the point of you need it. So if there's $1 million in loans, you can print $1 million. But if it's $1 million in loans and you print $100 million, or in our case, 36 trillion, what are you going to do? Now, if you default, you're going to default on a lot of countries, and your credit will go to zero. So you're basically going bankrupt. And then what do you do? So your dollar's worthless. See, this is the point. Your dollar's worthless. That's the point I'm screaming at, and people don't get. Well, I got my money in stocks. Well, what are stocks valued in? What are the companies valued in? This is worthless. But it takes an Austrian economist to understand the real nature of inflation being printing the money. And everybody also say it's pricing. Even the alligator, he doesn't get it. And for sure, these other guys like whatchamacallit, Andy Schechtman, he doesn't get it. They don't get what inflation is. They think it's prices. So they're wrong. It's the dollar gets printed, loses all its value, which it's lost 100%, let's say 99, just to be cute. And then you raise the prices if you can, because the value of the dollar has dropped. Wait a minute, I used to charge $5, but the dollar isn't worth as much. I got to charge 10 if you can. Like I say, the rib place, they can't raise it to $45, which is probably what they should. Nobody will buy it. Nobody can afford $45 for a slab of ribs. Plus, since the dollar's lost value, it takes me more money to buy other things, pay my bills, do. And that's the other problem. So I have less money to spend because the money's worth less and other costs are going up. I know my broccoli's $2.99. I'm not happy with that. But that's the problem. And so when I'm talking to this guy, I'm like, and he wouldn't really let me explain. He oh, you're Ayn Rand. I'm not Ayn Rand. I'm Adam Smith. I'm Austrian economist. I'm not. I learned from my teacher. I'm Harry Verizor. If you want to talk about my teacher at Walsh College, was Austrian economics. That's how I learned it. I read you my notes. That's it. It's not. I didn't read. I think I had to read a little Ayn Rand. He has signed a lot of books. I also read Adam Smith. I got Adam Smith's book here. Right. So here's Adam Smith's book, The Wealth of Nations. Okay. I also read some. I didn't read the whole book, but you know what? I watched the video on YouTube. There was 2 good videos on the scones, and he watched people and they would make decisions, and that's how he figured it out. Sort of like what I do with picking sports and just everyday life. And it's just you kind of analyze. I noticed that wherever I'm at, I'm kind of watching people just to see what they do. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing this, she's doing that. I'm just monitoring the situation, my environment. I'm looking for trouble. Am I going to be in trouble? I'm always very conscious of my surroundings. But that's what he did. He looked at people, and that's what he did. That's Austrian economics. That's why it's free market. That's the beauty of it. It's free market, not government control. That's why all the government controls the communist countries all go bankrupt, or the socialist ones. Socialism is these people want handouts. So you guys go work, and then I'm going to take a handout. I want I want a piece of the pie. So you made a nice pie for me. I'm going to give me $3,000 a month that you earned and you pay taxes on. So you're working, and then I can steal money. It's just such a joke. But this is the problem. So all I could bring up to the guy was, well, you heard of the Roman Empire? Yeah. Why did they go out? You'd have thought they never would go out. I says, because they took all their gold and silver out of their coins, which is the basement, which is not, inflation is not the basement. The basement is taking the money out of the coins. That's it. You're debasing the coin by taking the gold and silver out. So when I hear these fake economists like Alligator and some of these other guys say debasement, they're wrong. That's not, printing this to zero is called inflation. You're inflating the supply. It's not debasing. You're not debasing the money. You're debasing the coin. You're taking the gold out. That debases it. Oh, amateurs. So I told them that's how Rome fell, was they took the gold and silver out of the coin, and that's inflation. And then guess what? The empire died. And it survived a little when one guy tried, the guy in the Ottoman Empire tried to put the gold and silver back in, and it survived for a while. And then eventually they pulled the gold and silver out, and eventually the Germans got the gold and silver and attacked them and defeated them. But everybody who's had the gold has been fine, and then they want to go to war, and they don't know, just raise the price, but they don't, and then it ends up going back to paper, getting out of gold, and then they fall because they print the money and don't understand that's the inflation is printing the money. That's what loses the value. That's why the prices go up. That's why you go bankrupt, because you can't keep up with the prices because you're printing too much money. And then you think, well, I'll just print more. Well, you can't just print more. It doesn't work that way. You can't print to pay the debt off. The only way you can pay the debt off is to have a shitload of gold and raise the gold price to 30, 40,000 an ounce. Aha. Now, if only we had gold, which we don't. The 8,000 tons is rented out, which means it's sold to China. China owns our gold in Fort Knox. If there's any gold in Fort Knox, it's like the Fed. The gold in the Fed is not ours. If you watched Die Hard 3, the second best Die Hard, you would see that they had all the country names: Japan, South Korea, and China. And that was their gold in the Federal Reserve, not our gold. And now they're all asking for it back because they don't trust the U.S. is going to give it back to them, because we're not honest. We're the worst to deal with. We're all corrupt. And so trying to explain to him about the Roman Empire was probably the best way to scare him into reality. But he's like, I got my money in stocks. I'll be fine. And I'm just laughing. I'm laughing at him going, I don't have a dime in stocks. Nothing. I don't want stocks. I don't have any money in stocks, because that is the wrong place to be, because they're going to zero. And, it'll happen. Again, you don't know exactly date, September 1st, but it's going to happen because of the dollar being worthless. So therefore, if the dollar's worthless, everything in dollars is worthless. So that's what I tried to explain to the guy. And I just basically laughed at him. He says, well, I'll see you in the soup line. And I'm like, not me. I don't have stocks. No. I'm not an idiot. But I practice what I preach. So if I tell you get out of stocks, it's because I'm not in them either. You see my portfolio, it's 99%. The way it's driven, it's about 80% in gold, 15% in silver, 1% in dollars, and the rest are in mantle and ore and Mahomes and the cards. No Picassos, and unfortunately, no Rolexes, which would have been nice, but never thought about Rolex as an investment before. I do own a Tag Heuer, but I don't know what it's worth. It's not worth anywhere what a Rolex would be. But the Rolexes, because they're so dynamic, So I was watching the British Open yesterday. Well, you saw I cut the show, ended the show a little bit early to watch the back nine. And when I did that, every commercial was Rolex. Every commercial break, there was a Rolex commercial. That's how you brand yourself to be superior. You're doing it on the British Open or on the Masters. Cadillac used to do that. There's no substitute. It's the gold standard, and that's how you become a premium luxury brand. And then there's huge demand for it, and that's what happens. So that's the whole point of it. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. So that's how Rolex becomes a premium brand, or Cadillac or Mercedes. It's a very elegant, classy, and it's on big shows, the British Open, the Masters, the US Open. And that's how you become premium, and the prices go up. So who knew that a used Rolex would be worth 5 times the amount of a new Rolex? Because it's available now, and the demand is so strong, the demand's higher than the supply. And that's always what you're looking at for investments. So right now, the demand for gold and silver is much higher than the supply, but we got a communist price, and I don't know what this is. So that was a landline. Anyway, sorry about that. So this is the problem, and in a nutshell, the problem is the guy I'm on the bike with, or next to me. He doesn't know, but he doesn't know that he doesn't know. In other words, he thinks he's right, and he won't listen. Oh, you're one of these Ayn Rand guys, or you're one of these gold guys. There's not enough gold for everybody. It won't work. This is how naive and stupid they are. And so you're going to go bankrupt because you don't understand gold. But when somebody's here to explain it to you, you don't want to listen to them. You don't want to get the answer. And that's amazing to me, is if I'm talking gold, what do? I'm an Austrian economist. That would then he could trust what I'm saying. But he doesn't ask that question. And I said, your problem is that you think you're smarter than everybody. You don't know what you're talking about, but you don't know. You don't want to learn what the truth is. And again, I have money in the stock market, so I'll be fine. The stocks, because he's probably listening to his financial advisor, and the financial advisor, just like on Attack on Wall Street, says, "Oh, you're fine. Oh, you're good. Nothing's going to happen to the market. The market's booming. The economy's booming. What are you talking about?" And so he doesn't understand. So he listens to the guy who's never going to let him out of the stock market, never going to tell him about gold because there's no commission in gold. So he's fucked, but he doesn't know he's fucked. All right. So that's his problem. So, but he doesn't understand his problem, or he's listening to the financial advisor or stockbroker, who of course is not going to tell him about gold. So he's listening to the wrong person. But when he gets a chance to get another point of view and listen to an economist, he doesn't want to listen. And then his answer is, I'll see you in the soup line. And he's laughing. I'm going, I won't be there. You'll be in the soup line. You'll be, I said, I think I laughed when I said, well, when the market crashes, don't come calling to me. I won't help you. And he, he's into his gold. I'm into the gold. I'm not in the market, right? I'm not going to lose a penny because gold's going to go to the moon. The stock market's going to crash. The dollar's going to crash. So we see all this happening. So why would we be in stocks? We want to make money. But what's money? This is worthless. So you want to make what, $1,000? But this is worthless. Now, if you're going to try to make $1,000 so you can buy $1,000 worth of gold, which is not even a half ounce anymore, if that's your point of getting this, to do that, you've already lost because this has no value. So you're trying to get dollars that has no value. So anytime you make money, you pay your bills and the rest you buy gold with. And that's what you need to do. Like that one auto store that my friend at Toyota, when I go get my oil change, tells me every night the guy takes all his profits and buys gold. Okay. See, and the other reason is gold's going to go up and you're not going to be able to get it because there won't be any. So as the demand for gold goes up, the supply is very limited. So now you're going to, okay, I'll buy gold that's at 5,000. Where are you going to buy it at? The places that you go, they're all sold out. That's what you're not seeing. You see the price go down, you think that's the market somebody's selling. No, it's the derivative knocking it down. That's why it's going down. Nobody's selling. So there is very little gold available. Like I say, the only reason I can go to my store and buy gold because people come and sell it because they think it's so high at 2,400. I'm going to sell it now before the price drops. And the price ain't dropping. I mean, it'll drop a little like today because of the derivatives, but price isn't dropping. The demand is strong, like a Rolex. You're going to wait for a Rolex that's $50,000 go down to 30. Well, you're going to have a long wait because it'll never happen. So that's the thing. And the Rolexes just you're better off in Rolex than the stock market. I mean, if you have 500,000 in stocks, you're better off in 500,000 in the mantle cards and in the Rolexes and in gold, of course. But you're much better off in Rolex. That's going to go. See, that won't go down. It'll go down in dollar terms as the dollar goes out, but it'll be quickly picked up by the gold crowd. Like I said, it'll be revalued at a half ounce of gold. We'll buy, a tenth of an ounce of gold will buy a $50,000 Rolex, basically. So that's why you don't sell it now. You hold it. And when it really goes to the moon, then your gold will be very valuable. And that's the point. Anyway, so I just walked away and I said, well, when you go broke, don't come asking me. And I'm trying to be kind of dig in with the knife because he's not listening. I can't help you if you don't he didn't even let me really talk. He kept like saying, well, no, I'm fine. I got my money in the market. And, and I'm trying to tell him gold. And he said, oh, there's 350 million people. How can you have gold? Because they use fucking dollars backed by gold. How did we have the gold standard from 1945 to Bretton Woods to 1971? How did that work? And we had probably 300 million people in the 50s, 60s, 70s, right? It worked then. The only reason it didn't work is we printed too much money for Vietnam. And then we started with these social programs, giving away money from working people that made it. So that's really what happened. But everybody doesn't run out and buy an ounce of gold. The smart people do, but the majority of the people just, so what? It's better to get paid in inflated dollars that are worthless. So let's follow this guy's logic. So it's better, there's 350 million people. So it's better to get worthless dollars than a gold-backed currency. Oh, okay. Yeah. And what are you, an idiot? That's like, what do you do? I mean, he started quoting Keynes, marginal, whatever. And I don't listen to it. I don't care. It's meaningless. It's not Austrian economics. Austrian economics is simple, clear. We don't use all these little fucking models and all this shit. That's why when I see that, I just turn off because that's not Austrian economics. And I don't need to prove it because the problem with the dollar of gold is you're looking at a price fixed gold. So you can't use a 2008 gold chart to say, well, that's what's going to happen now because it's price fixed. What we're waiting for is a free market price of gold. And until we get that, it's all bullshit. All right. So that was my exciting last half hour on the bike watching the Tiger game. Going, oh, that's what the guy looks like. And anyway, so that's the whole point, is looking at learning from the guy what the problem is. They don't want to listen. They think their money's safe in stocks. They don't think the dollar's never going out. Do you realize that you printed $150 trillion and yes, it will go out? Do you realize in 1795, do you realize, whatever, 1920, 1930, the British needed arms, sold all their gold. Now they're bankrupt. Did you happen to see that other country bankrupt? Rome went bankrupt. France went bankrupt. That's 1795. Did you hear about this history, or you just ignore it because it doesn't serve your purpose? So I'm like, see, and if he calls his stockbroker today, he's going to say, no, it's fine. The dollar's fine. And so he listens and believes what the guy's saying because he doesn't know. See, I hate when these other shows say, I'm not a financial advisor. Learn on your own. Well, if it's easy and you can learn on your own, you would. That's why you watch the shows, is because you don't know and you can't learn on your own. That's such bullshit. That's why I'm teaching you what to do. Am I a financial advisor? Well, I guess so. I guess I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I do, put it that way. So you follow my lead and you'll be fine. If you don't want to follow my lead and you want to do like this idiot and buy stocks and think the dollar won't collapse, well, don't come to me when it goes to zero, because I'm telling you what's happening and what will happen. So that's basically what you have. So just be careful. Don't be open-minded. That's why you have to be stoic. A stoic person, if they don't know, learns. Once they learn and then they understand it, which is where we're at buy the gold because the dollar's been printed to zero. We understand it and now we're stoic. And so when some guy on the bike challenges us, we sit there and go, you're out of your fucking mind. Gold's the only play because the dollar's going out and the market's going out and everything else is going out in paper. The banks will go out, your money will be worthless. And the only thing that's going to be left surviving is gold. And the Rolex and the Mantle cards will not survive the dollar, but will survive the price in gold. I mean, the Rolex will always have value. That's the beauty of real assets. So will your house. It'll go to zero in dollars. See, everything in dollars goes to zero because there won't be a dollar anymore. And then the price of gold, then gold buys the Rolex, the Mantle card, the house. So prices get changed to gold because that'll be the currency, because it's always been the currency. Since the Romans, it's been the currency, and it's the only thing that survives because they can't print it. They could inflate it, they would, and that's why I show you to be careful of that silver that's really cheap. That's counterfeit. So you're going to be disappointed if you think you're making a savings. And don't ask the question, silver's 40 an ounce. That should be 200 for 5. It's 120. Yeah. Oh, what a deal I'm getting. Yeah. Nobody gives you that deal. Only a Madoff person. Only a Madoff sucker sees that. Oh, I get 15% return and everybody else is getting 5. How does Madoff do it? He never misses the stock market. Okay. So anyway, whatchamacallit, Andy Scheckman used my oceanfront property. If you believe that, I'll sell you oceanfront property in Detroit. So I hear him today, I'll sell you oceanfront property. And he's going, well, I can't say Detroit. So he says, So he says Arkansas. Yeah, okay. If you guys are going to use me, then just give me credit. Call me up. We can have a talk. You can buy me lunch, and I'll educate you. I mean, that's fine. I'm not opposed. That's what I do is I educate people. But don't sit there and insult me and use all my stuff and not give me credit for it. Oceanfront property in our. Where'd you fucking hear that one, Andy Scheckman? Useless. Okay, so now Biden stepping down. Now Kamala Harris has no chance of winning. She's a crook. There's some stuff on her about being the DA in California, keeping people in jail long when their sentence was over, not putting people in jail, putting a lot of people for doing drugs, but not the harder criminals. If they were liberals, they didn't go to jail. Terrible record, terrible idiot, and she's running for president. Are they kidding? I mean, she'll get 1% of the vote. Trump, I guess they figure Trump's going to win by a landslide anyway. So let's just put Kamala out there. We'll try to, she's a black woman. I'm going to vote for her because we need a black woman in charge. I mean, what are you kidding me? I wouldn't mind if it was a smart black woman who actually understood Austrian economics. I'd vote for her, like Margaret Thatcher or Condoleezza Rice, who was a conservative. She's on that Stanford team, but not Kamala Harris. She's a crook and she doesn't have a brain in her head. So why would anybody vote for her? Which I think's the point. They know Trump's going to win now. Now let's get to Trump. Clearly a George Soros job. How do you know George Soros? This is what he does. So he had the whole Secret Service, and now we're finding out it wasn't even Secret Service protecting him. These women were clerks of Homeland Security. They were like file secretaries. They didn't sweep the building. George Soros and with Larry Fink wanted the guy to get up there and shoot Trump. So they let him get up there. They saw him. They let him go to the building. They let him get up, and they let him shoot. That was the plan. We'll kill. And then if you notice, they then killed the guy. Now, what movie do we get that from? No Loose Ends. We see it we saw it in the Joker movie with Batman, and he's doing the bank robbery and he kills all the people involved in the robbery. And he kept all the money. And that's the point, which is ironic because he didn't care about money, but when he robbed the bank, he apparently cared about the money. But that's the thing, no loose ends. So why did they kill the guy? No loose ends. So they let him shoot him and then no loose ends. Now, I don't know how they chose this guy. Apparently it was a bad shot, but it was a pretty good shot he did. How he got on the building, they let him up because that's what George Soros wanted. He planned it. See, and here's the problem with people. They can't think outside the box. They can't see the big picture. Who would want Trump killed? George Soros. The Chinese. I don't know if the Chinese do. The Russians don't. Putin doesn't. He thinks that Trump will end the war. He's fine. He doesn't want him killed. I don't think, wants him killed. This is a George Soros. This is getting America in chaos. Kamala Harris will take over. She's the biggest idiot in the world. She takes over, and there goes the U.S. It's all done. Trump, because he doesn't listen and he's got a lot of money, he's hard to control. So we really don't want Trump to be president. And therefore, who does that? George Soros, Larry Fink. I keep seeing how Larry Fink was behind this too. He recruited the guy. Larry Fink, I don't trust, but he's just a salesman. I love how he manages $9 trillion. That doesn't mean he's got $9 trillion. It means he manages $9 trillion. So people have given him money like Bernie Madoff. This is like Bernie Madoff. They've given him the money, and with that money, he is puts it into Apple and whatever AI and whatever the bullshit stocks are. That's what he does with the money. But it's not his money. He doesn't have $9 trillion. He manages $9 trillion. And it's all going to go to zero. So does he have any gold? I doubt it. because guys like that think, oh no, the dollar's fine. We'll just keep printing it. See, the other problem with the money is you have these MMT guys like Rickards and a lot of the government. They're all Keynesian. That's what MMT is, modern monetary theory, which means we can print and print and print. We'll print and that'll pay off the debt. And don't worry, nothing can happen. And no, you inflate. You can't keep printing. It'll make the dollar go to zero. That's the problem. So they don't understand that. So they think, well, we'll just keep printing. And that's what they're doing. They're printing, printing, printing as we go to zero. The CBDCs won't help you. It's just digital dollars, but it's still, if it's printed and it's not backed by gold, it's not worth anything anyway. So you have the digital dollar that'll be worthless, and the regular dollar will be worthless. And the only thing with value is gold, the Picasso, the Rolex, and the Mantle cards and Montana cards. That's where your value will be at. So keep that in mind, everybody, that, yeah, if you talk to your financial advisor, like I said, gold's not on the menu. So they'll never tell you to go into gold because they don't make any commission on it. They'll try to tell you stocks are where it's at because that's where they make their money. So if you were to sell your stock and go into gold, they don't want that. So don't expect a financial advisor to advise you to do that. He will tell you that the stock market's safe because that's where his commission's at, and he doesn't want you to know the truth. If you knew gold was the out and you can't lose with gold, it's the lock, nobody would be in the stock market. And all the financial advisors would be unemployed and broke. Well, not broke, but they'd be unemployed. But all these Wall Street banks, that's what they are. They're all banks, want you in the stock market, want you in bonds, want you in real estate trust, because that's where they get their commission. And then they have your money and then they control it. They can give all their money, all your money to the owners and bonuses. And that's where you get the bonus. So it's just money, as the guy from Die Hard 3, Jeremy Irons says. It's all money. It's just money. It's just worthless paper. But that's the beauty of gold. It's not. See, you can keep printing the money and have a lot more wealth if you print it. That's why these bankers don't want gold. And they think they got to keep the value of the gold down. If they keep the gold worth less or value less, then people won't be interested in stocks because they'll see, oh, look at all the money I can make in stocks. Gold doesn't do anything. Or like today, gold's dropping, but it's because of the derivative, because they can't make money on gold because they can't print it. And so this is the wonderful bankers that are more corrupt. They are the politicians. The politicians and the bankers are the same. They're very corrupt. I mean, here's the assassination attempt, and the lady, the head of the Secret Service is some idiot who used to work for Pepsi selling, pop and chips. Oh no, I'm not going to step down. Why would I step down? So let's see, on my watch, the former president running for the president got shot. I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it's so obvious that she's an idiot. The best part about Trump getting into president is getting rid of all these woke people, all these idiots. Mayorkas is guilty. That doctor is guilty. Fauci, here's the director. Get rid of the FBI. I saw a commercial about him getting rid of the FBI and firing all the people. I go, what's wrong with that? That's a great thing. Let's get rid of all these woke and communists. Let's get rid of all of them. We don't need them. That's the problem with the country. We don't trust anything. We don't trust the Secret Service. And in fact, he did the other speech the other day. He had like 20 big men guarding him now, his Secret Service. If it was ever me doing that, I would have a call into Putin and saying, I need real security. Can I have like 50 Russian good security guys? And he'd give me 50 guys and I would feel safe. And that would be the only way I'd be safe, is to use the Russian security. Because if Trump wanted me dead, I'd be dead. Or if Putin wanted me dead, I'd already be dead. He'd poison me. So you'd want his security team, and you'd pay handsomely for that, and then you'd feel safe. But I wouldn't trust FBI or CIA or Secret Service. They're all corrupt. Even when they say so, they're going to look into it. Well, what's that going to mean? You know, they'll come out with some bullshit. And then what I hate is when the senators like talk to these people, nothing happens. Fauci's clearly guilty. Nothing happens. All these people commit these crimes. Nothing happens. They're all insider trading, making money on stocks. Nothing happens. So even if they go in front of Congress, they don't do anything. What's the point of it? And they all say, "I don't remember. I don't remember." You know, the Congress is questioning you. I don't remember. You know, who'd you pick in the Super Bowl last year? I don't remember. What kind of bullshit answers are those? All right. So I think that's what we got out of it. So again, you're dealing with people that don't know gold is the answer. And it's very hard to explain it because they don't know. So they go to their financial advisor who won't tell them about gold. So they think that would be stupid to go into gold. Okay. That's what you're dealing with. That's the problem we have when we try to help people. That's why with you, I paint the picture and I explain everything, and you should be able to get it. And that's why the stockbroker will not explain it. Ask the stockbroker about gold, and what's not going to say, anything. He's not going to. He can't defend him. He doesn't know anything about it himself. These are salesmen. These aren't economic guys. That's why you get Alligator and Egon understand it. But most people don't get it. And, they don't put two and two together. Why is Zimbabwe and Venezuela have this huge inflation, and Greece and Sri Lanka and Argentina? Why do they have this massive inflation if all they need to do, is print more dollars? We'll print more dollars. Well, why does the inflation go up? Why can't they stop the inflation? Because you can't stop it. So you can see it happening now, and then everybody wants to ignore it, right? Turkey inflation. India inflation, Japan inflation. You see it happening, but you ignore it. Oh, it's because they printed too much money. But everybody, they don't get it. Why does Zimbabwe have all this inflation? I don't know. Well, it's because they printed their dollars, trillions of dollars, and they're worthless. That's why, but nobody can connect the dots or inflate it. Just like nobody connects the Trump shooting to George Soros. Nobody can understand that. It's this 20-year-old kid who they kill, so there's no loose ends. But nobody asks those questions. Nobody can think clearly and understand what the fuck's going on here. We got little women trying to protect Trump. Like they say, he's 6'4" and she's 5'5". She can't holster her gun. What is she fucking doing there? Why did he do that if he saw? Now this is where I blame Trump. This is my this is my security Secret Service details. Little 5'5" girl who doesn't know what a gun is. She's going to protect me. I think I'll call Putin and get some guys in here that will protect me. That's the trouble he had. He didn't think. It's as much his fault as it is the director of Secret Service. Seeing what he saw. And why didn't they have walkie-talkies? So the lady who sees the guy on the roof, why didn't they talk to Trump and say, "Hey, wait, where was the communication? Wait a minute, there's a guy on the roof who probably shouldn't be there, who's 100 yards away. Get Trump off the stage." Where was that walkie-talkie communication? We see it on Money Heist. I see it in a Netflix with the professor who obviously is a lot smarter than the Secret Service. What are you fucking kidding me? So I blame Trump. He's got to have his people that he can trust. And if he's going in there without trusting these people, he's out of his fucking mind. So he's not all there either. If he's going to allow, he shouldn't have allowed this to happen. He should have known it. And this should have been planned out. If you see a guy on the roof, take him out. A guy on the roof with a gun, maybe we need to take him out before he takes me out. So I know originally I thought this was, he took a shot and hit his ear on purpose for Trump, but now I don't think so. I just think this was a Soros plan to kill him. The guy just missed because they used some idiot who doesn't know how to fire a gun. I think BlackRock trained him, but it was, he's probably a stupid loner that won't talk. And then when he's done, they're going to kill him. And that's what happened. Why he went through with it, we'll never know. Probably the family was in danger. They give him, it's the Nazi version. Well, if you don't do it, we're holding your family. We'll kill your family if you don't do this or that. I see that on Hogan's Heroes a lot, where the Nazis were holding the family, the French family. Oh, I had to do it. They held my dad or whatever. So I'm sure it's a lot of that. Soros is a Nazi, so he'd use those tactics. So anyway, I think that's enough with that. So we've covered inflation, we've covered gold, we've covered the shooting, we've covered my guy on the bike thinking he's safe in stocks, and he's not. All right, let's go to baseball. Fabulous day yesterday, 6-3. We start off with Milwaukee over 7, and Milwaukee beats Minnie 8-7. This was the 7.5 with the bad ERA pitchers that I really couldn't understand, because these teams can hit. Milwaukee, Minnesota, pretty good hitting teams. The pitching wasn't Verlander and Scherzer. It was a guy with the 4 and a guy with the 5 ERA. Good hitting teams. So that's why I love this game. So Milwaukee over 7 wins. Then I got the Yankees over 9 because I didn't like the pitching. And there it is. Tampa 6, Yankees 4 is 10. We hit over 9. St. Louis, Atlanta, we didn't play. Miles McCollum is getting hot. They win 6-2. Atlanta is not hitting. I don't know if there's injuries, but they got like 2 or 3 200 hitters. I don't know. Washington 5, Cincinnati 2. This is a game that could have went Cincinnati 5 and Washington 2. We didn't play this game again. So we're learning to stay away from some teams. They don't hit. They don't have pitching. We're not sure what we're getting. Too many minor leaguers on their teams. Here, the Robert Garcia got the win for Washington. 2-3 with the 4.41. You're going to bet that this is a professional pitcher? Philly 6, Pitt nothing. I didn't play this one. Philly with a weak, both had weak pitchers. And I did think it's under because Pitt's an under team. They got a pretty good bullpen. They don't hit. Philly, you never know. So Philly won, but I didn't like the pitching. And then we get Detroit over 8. This was a 5-unit play and 5-4. Again, Gausman with the 4.55, Montero with the 5.97. I knew Toronto would hit Montero. They got 5 runs. Detroit got lucky. They had a grand slam in like the 6th inning or 7th inning. And that was their 4 runs. And then it got to 9, and that was it. The game was over in the 6th inning. I got over 8. That's what I like about the over-unders. When you get over, it's over. You don't have to worry who wins. San Diego 2, Cleveland 1. It's surprising they can hit. Cleveland with the great bullpen makes Cleveland, you either bet them or that's it. You cannot play over-unders in Cleveland games very often. The pitchers did have 3 ERAs, 3.28 for King, Lively 3.57. They're both 8 and 6. Suarez comes in with the save for San Diego, 23rd save, a 1.62 ERA. So it's hard to bet over in San Diego Cleveland games, and the under does come through. Didn't play that one. The Mets over 8.5. We didn't bet it, and it didn't go. Miami won 4-2. Both pitchers in the 3.5, so you didn't know what you got. And Miami holds them to 2 runs. So all of a sudden, Miami's playing better ball. Their reliever, Tanner Scott, is 16 saves and 1.27 ERA. So when Miami gets the lead, you're not going to score on them. Kansas City 4-1. I had Kansas City under for five units as Seth Lugo was pitching 12-4 with a 2.38. The loser was 0-5 with a 5.12. Breba. I don't know if he was the starter, but I didn't like how I knew Chicago wouldn't score in the game. Well, they got one on me. So I figured KC would win, if you remember, but they were 250 favorites. So I went with the under because it was a better odds. And so both win. KC under 8, 4-1. Beautiful pick. The Cubbies under 7.5. This is 3 units. They win 2-1. Another winner. We had two good pitchers going in this game. I don't remember who, but I think it was Omega or something for the Cubs with a 2 ERA, and Arizona had a good guy. This went 10 innings and it was 2-1. So again, the pitching dominates and the pitching makes it. So Cubs under 7.5. There you go again. Baltimore, Texas. I played Baltimore. I thought Texas's pitcher was weak and Baltimore would hit him. Texas wins 3-2. So I didn't have the game over. But Texas gets them, which is surprising. Baltimore is hitting, and they just 3-2. They lost. Okay, we lost with Baltimore. The 49ers in Colorado. I didn't like laying 10. I don't like laying 10. I don't care if the game's in Colorado. You had Birdsong with a 3.55 and somebody with a 3-something or 4 with Colorado. Frisco doesn't hit that well, but they have pretty good pitching. So it's 3-2 in just because it's in Colorado. Not every game's a 10. Depends on the pitcher. So I stayed away from that. Oakland and California. I have Oakland over 9. They've been red hot. They've been hitting the ball. California wins 8-5. Perfect. I get 13 runs. I only needed 9, and I get over. And that's what I did. So the Tigers and Oakland were both based on they're hot. They're hitting. They're driving in runs. They're playing high-scoring games. So I played them both over, and I won them both. Just because they're hot. Even though they both lost 5-4 and 8-5. They both covered the over. So here, California, Oakland, over was 9. They got 13 runs. So again, I'm playing the streaks, which is we got to get more into the streaks on this. But yeah, that's definitely Oakland over until they get shut out, and Detroit over until because they've changed hitters. Parker Meadows is in the minors, and their first baseman for the Tigers, who was hitting 180s in the minors. And they brought up some guys that are hitting 240, 250, and they're getting hot. And so you've got these 240, 250 hitters, and you don't have the 180 hitters, so they're going to score more runs. I have Houston under 7.5. Brian Wu, Ric Flair against Ronald Bianco. 2.54 ERA and a 2.75 ERA. Bianco no hits Detroit for 7 innings. How the hell this game over? I went under 7.5, thinking this is 2-1, and Seattle wins 6-4. I can't figure it out. Again, now Seattle has a good bullpen guy, Andrews Munoz, 16 saves and 1.37 ERA. The problem is getting to these pitchers. They have to have the lead in the 9th, or they're not going to go to them. So you just never know. So Houston getting the 4 runs makes sense. Seattle getting 6 makes no sense. And he gave up 4 or 5 runs, Blanco. So, again, he's 9-5 with the 2.75. He's like Ranger Suarez, but they're starting to give up runs. So the ERA doesn't change much, but it was 2.0. Now it's 2.75. So really it's about a 4 or a 5. That's why it's good to go into the last 5 games. You can kind of see what the pitcher's doing. So that was a loser. Houston under 7.5. And the last one was Boston under 9. Cutter Crawford, 6-8 with 7, had been pitching very well. And Paxton was pitching well. And the Dodgers win 9-6, which is what I thought. I also looked at the last few games, and they had went under. So with Cutter Crawford and Paxton, I thought 2 good pitchers. This should go under. Of course, I was wrong. So I ended up going 6-3. Hit the 5-unit game Detroit. Hit the 5-unit game KC under 8. Lost the 5-unit Houston under 7.5. So, pretty good on the 5 units. The rest were 3 units. So pretty good day. I mean, that's good. You make 9 bets and you go 6-3 in baseball. And I've been doing that pretty regularly the last few weeks. I've been going, 6-2, 7-2, 7-5. Pretty much every day I'm getting more winners than losers. So starting to figure it out. Also, the trends help. You want to look at the trends like we do in football. We tend to look at hot quarterbacks, and then the defenses. All of a sudden, we see what she is. If the Bears were to play Cincinnati and they played them a 10-7 game, and Burrows played and Chase played, wow, great defense. But if they do it to a team without a good offense like Carolina, it's not a big deal. You expect them to shut out Carolina. You expect everybody to shut out Carolina. The coach sucks, quarterback sucks. They got rid of McCaffrey. What a strange move that was, getting rid of McCaffrey. Oh, and by the way, San Francisco, I was looking at my SEC yesterday, and Missouri had a great running back, 1,600 yards in the SEC. And he didn't get drafted. It's insane. So he's a free agent on San Francisco, which it's a great pick, but you got McCaffrey there. So that's what's surprising. See, here's my whole logic is here's this guy got a free agent from San Francisco, and Detroit wasting a first-round pick on this Alabama running back when you could have got this guy as a free agent. And who knows where Ollie Gordon, Oak State running back, is going to go. He should be a first-round pick, but knowing these idiots, he'll go in the 7th round or be a free agent. And you're like, what a bunch of idiots. So anyway, that's what you have. You need running. This is the problem. It's like whoever's running the money, the MMT boys who think they can just keep printing it, don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing in baseball. It's the same thing in football. Baseball, you have way too many. There's not enough good pitchers, professional pitchers to have. What the fuck you're doing? And in football, you're avoiding the running game, which is absolutely ridiculous. You need running inside the 10-yard line and on 3rd and 1s. If the Lions had good running backs on 4th and 2 against the Niners, who I would have kicked the field goal to tie the game, could have at least run for it. He didn't have running backs that could do it, and he throws a pass because you knew they weren't going to be able to run for it. So this is the problem. But if you had a good running back, this Missouri guy is very good. I mean, he goes to San Francisco. So give San Francisco credit for seeing this guy who got 1,600 yards in the SEC going, yeah, he probably should have been drafted in like the 1st or 2nd round, and he didn't get drafted. And instead, they're all drafting linemen. Well, yeah, we need the offensive linemen in the 1st round. Yeah, well, they're a dime a dozen. The running back on Missouri is not a dime a dozen. The running back from Oak State's not a dime a dozen. I guarantee you the running backs at Georgia and Ohio State are not dime a dozens. So, and then they go and waste their time on Marvin Harrison, like fucking idiots. All right, Monday, 7/22. Let's look at baseball. So we open, there's a 105 game, and then 6:40, it's 11:35. We got Tampa and the Yankees. Yankees 175, 8.5. Zach Littell, 3-6 with the 4.26. Carlos Rodon, 9-7 with the 4.63. I'm not sure why Tampa's playing the Yankees again. They just played them all weekend. So we see that it's been low scoring. At least yesterday. See, this is my problem. I can't really look at the last few games going, they're not hitting or they are hitting and get caught into it. It's got to be the pitchers. So Zach Littell, 3-6 with the 4.26. Not a great record, decent ERA. Carlos Rodon, 9-7 with the 4.6. So you got to think this is an over. But the Yankees just aren't hitting. Tampa's got the good closer. The Yankees have the good closer. I see the Yankees sent 2 guys down to their minor league in the bullpen because they're minor leaguers, as I'm saying. You've got too many minor leaguers playing. That's why it's so hard to pick. It's so inconsistent. They're minor leaguers. They're not professionals. It'd be like a golfer who was an amateur playing. He shoots 66 and then he shoots 78. I mean, what is that? So I'm going to leave this game alone. Probably an over with these pitchers, but I'm gonna watch Detroit at Cleveland. Detroit's 130-7. Tarek Skubal 10-3 with the 2.41. Carlos Carrasco 3-7 with the 5.02. Detroit's been hot, although they lost to Toronto yesterday. Skubal, okay, I think he's not that good the last few games. Let's see. Let's see. Against the Dodgers, gave up 2 runs, gave up 1 run against Cincy, 3 runs to Minnesota, 0 to Philly, 5 to Atlanta, 4 to Houston. So he had a few bad games, a 4, a 5, a 3, and a 2, and then he had a 1, a 0. So he's about a 3 ERA. Let's see, Carlos correct. So. Another Venezuela guy. They all leave Venezuela because of the inflation. 2 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, and a lot of these are 5 innings, 5 and 6 innings. So it's 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4. He doesn't go more than really 5 innings. Occasionally a 6. You have 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. It's like a phone number. So he's not that good. That's why his ERA is 5.02. Doing it in only 5 innings. So now we got to look at the bullpen of Cleveland, which I think is the best in the league. Yeah, it's a 2.60. Nobody's really under 3. So you're going to get a good bullpen. So this is an under game, but what do I do? The Tigers were hitting. Although really yesterday they got a grand slam. They weren't really hitting. Carrasco, they will hit. So it's Skubal. Is he going to really shut out Cleveland? I doubt it. At Cleveland, it's a big game. Let's see how he is in big games. Is he going to choke or not? The bullpen of Cleveland keeps this from going over. Skubal. I can't bet on Cleveland, so it's Detroit, but I'll have to make a small bet on Detroit, like a 2 unit. I can't go over because of Cleveland's bullpen and Skubal. Skubal could shut him out, and the Cleveland bullpen after the 5th inning is going to shut him out. So you really can't do anything with these guys, which leaves you to see what's going on. You just can't trust Carrasco. So Detroit probably wins the game 3-1 or something. But their bullpen isn't. Detroit's bullpen is now 4-11. So this is where if I'm the manager, Skubal's got to go 9 innings or at least 8, and then if I have a saver in the bullpen, if I have a Dennis Eckersley, I use him. But these managers aren't intelligent enough to think like that. But when you got this guy and you got a weak bullpen, you need to pitch him 8 innings. But we'll see. Anyway, so very light on Detroit, only because of the pitching matchup. Otherwise, any other pitcher, I'm going to go over. St. Louis and Pitt. Pitt minus 130, 8.5. Andre Palante, 4-4 with the 4.21 for St. Louis. Mitch Keller, 10-5 with the 3.46 for Pitt. Pitt's favored 130 and 8.5. St. Louis scored a lot on Arizona. Pitt got shut out by Philly. And we got Philly. It's 259 with the 3.87. So this is let's look at Pitt. Hit 231 with the 4.35. So they're pretty weak bullpen and hitting. And St. Louis hits 245 with the 3.50 ERA. So pretty good bullpen Palin 4-4. Mitch Keller. Yeah, Mitch Keller's a better pitcher. I'm going to leave this alone. I don't know what to do with this. Some teams you just don't know. St. Louis, I can't figure out. Pitt seems like an under. Get shut out by Philly 6-0 without a real big pitcher for Philadelphia. The Mets in Miami. Miami's won yesterday. Good ace out of the bullpen. The rest isn't very good. Miami, the Mets aren't hitting. So they went from hitting to not hitting. Sometimes that happens when you get the All-Star break. All of a sudden, you were hitting, you're in a groove, and all of a sudden the All-Star break ruins your timing. Some teams get really hot and some teams get really cold, and they can't hit, or they hit or they can't hit. The break affects them a different way. So we've got Mets a 145, 8.5 favorite. David Peterson, 4-0 with the 309 against Yanni Chirinos, 0-1 with the 5.76. Let's go with the Mets to get a win here. And we'll go 2 units on that. Oh, I was talking to that idiot on the bicycle yesterday. She says, well, it's hard to beat a team 3 straight times in baseball. And I go, it's all the pitching. You don't look if they won 1, 2, or 3. You look at who's today's pitcher. Oh, Verlander's going. I don't care what happened the last game or 2. All I care is Verlander's pitching. He's going to win. I mean, it's as simple as that. Scherzer's running into trouble. But I like Lugo for KC. He went 9 innings yesterday. So there you go. Cincinnati and Atlanta. Atlanta's not been hitting. Atlanta 157.5. Again, Cincinnati, St. Louis. I have no idea what these teams. Oh, I have to study. It's again at home on the road. So I'm going to have to do batting averages home and away. I think is the only way. How are the Reds on the road? Where the Reds are 231, but are they better at home? Most teams are better at home. They're comfortable there, and they play a lot more games there than on the road. And there's many different stadiums on the road. Cincinnati with the 3.44 ERA, 231 batting average, and Atlanta with the 241 batting average, 294. So Atlanta's a very good team. Oh, and they got Ronaldo Lopez. Okay, they got Lopez 7-3 with the 188. All right, we're gonna go Atlanta. We're gonna go 5 units on this game. We got the ace Lopez against Hunter Green, who's okay, over under 7.5, but probably go under 2. Hunter with the 3.34. So let's do a double. Atlanta under 7.5, and that'll just be 2 units. The big one's Atlanta to win. That's 5 units. Philly, Minnesota, interesting ball game. Philly 115-8. Rangers Suarez, be careful. 10-4 at the 2.76 against Bailey Ober, who's not that bad, but is that bad. He's 8-5 with the 4.14. Suarez has been a pig recently, so we're going to go over here. Philly over 8. We'll go 3 units. Ober's okay. Rangers Suarez, so he was a 1.718, and now he's a 2.7. He went up a whole point in the last 3 or 4 games. He can't pitch. So whatever he was doing, maybe he's tired. Maybe this All-Star break helped him. I don't know. But we will see. But right now, this is an over. Both teams hit very well. The White Sox in Texas. We got Texas 185, 8.5 in Texas. Eric Fetty, 7-3 with a 2.99. Pretty good against Michael Lorenzen, 5-5 with a 3.52. We know the White Sox have no offense, so we're going to go under here. Texas under 8.5. And let's play this for 3 units. Milwaukee and the Cubs, the Packer-Bear game. Milwaukee minus 128.5. Tobias Myers for Milwaukee. Had to differentiate which team because nobody's ever heard of these guys. 6-3 with the 3.13. Javier Assad for the Cubbies. 4-3 with the 3.27. Let's go under. Cubs under 8.5. And this will be 2 units. Arizona, Kansas City, pretty good matchup. KC 168.5 in Kansas City. Yiber Diaz 1-0 with a 1.50. Smells like a bullpen guy. Cole Reagan 6-6 with the 3.16. Diaz. Well, he's not a bullpen guy, but he's pitched in 2 games. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run in both games. Now, why is his ERA 1.5? Because that's for 9 innings, and he only pitched 6 innings. That's why. So that's how you get it. It's ERA is based on 9 innings, not 5. Not he pitched. He gave up 1 run in 5 innings. Oh, look how good he is. He needs to pitch the 9. See, what they're trying to do is get him out before they get tired, but then they ruin the pitcher because they don't let him pitch out of jams. Apparently, the St. Louis pitcher could pitch to KC Lugo yesterday. Got through the lineup 3 times and had no problem as he shut him out. They make this little song and you can't go through the lineup 3 times. Again, it's a little analytical bullshit that they hit 245 if they hit the 3rd time. Yeah, so that's bullshit. So anyway, Reagan 6-6 with 3.16. Diaz 1-0 with the 1.50. Only pitched twice. We can go KC under 8.5. 2 units. Don't love it. I mean, Arizona hits 250, so you don't know what that means. Again, it's against the pitcher. Boston and Colorado, of course, at Colorado, of course, 10.5, 175. I mean, you'd think they could figure out better odds on the over-under than 10.5. Tanner Houck, 8-6 with the 2.54. Austin Gomber, 2-6 with the 4.61. I think Boston wins here. Let's go Boston, 3 units. 8-6 at the 2.54. I don't see Colorado putting up 10 runs here. But Gomer, 2-6 at the 4.61. Boston should be having a field day here and with a pretty good pitch. All right. Houston at Oakland. Good football game. Houston minus 158.5. Spencer Spaghetti, 4-7 with the 5.63. Hulk Hogan, 1-3 with the 3.40. And I think you got to go over here. Houston over 8.5, and this will be 3 units. Houston's got too much hitting, but when you put in Spaghetti with his 5.63 ERA, Oakland should hit him. Oh yeah, and Oakland's been. I'm going to make this 5 units. Oakland's been really hot scoring, right? And Houston scores. So yeah, this is a 5 unit, 8.5. With these 2 lousy pitchers. Yeah, this is way over. I should make it higher. California, Seattle minus 175, 7.5. Tyler Anderson, 8-8 with the 2.97 against Bryce Miller, 7-7 with the 3.63. Can either team hit? LA hits 235. Seattle hits 219. 3.66. Well, we see Seattle. If they get the lead, they got an ace. And California 4.53. So pretty weak bullpen. But the starters are really good. 2.97 and a 3.63. So let's go under here. Seattle under 7.5, 2 units. And last but not least, the 49ers against the Rams, an old NFC West matchup. And I don't have pitchers. How do I not have pitchers? So who's pitching? The bullpen? Well, there's nothing I can do. The Dodgers are 130, 8.5. I don't have pitchers now. I'll check back later with that. So let's go through the bets. Detroit, 2 units. The Mets, 2 units. Atlanta, 5. Atlanta under 7.5, 2. Philly over 8, 3. Texas under 8.5, 3. The Cubbies under 8.5, 2. KC under 8.5, 2. Boston 3, Houston over 8.5, 5, and Seattle under 7.5, 2. Really love that Houston Oakland over, and the Atlanta game should be good. Now I bet 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games, but I feel very comfortable in all 11. And what's been happening is I'll go like 7-4, 8-3. I hate when people, look, we all know I'm good at football picking, right? It's not a secret. You saw it all last year if you didn't know, but we all hit it. And people get upset when I lose, when I pick a loser. Oh, you had a losing week. Well, yeah, of course, but the method is what it is. I might lose, like I say, the Scherzer Bianco game. I have it under the Texas Houston game because I got Scherzer with it was a good pitcher in Bianco. Now the thought is valid. The bet is a good bet, and then they score 10 runs. Well, okay, I lost, but I'm going to make that bet every time, and I'm going to win 8 out of 10 of them. We just got one of the losers, right? And that happens. But you've got to be, it's like gold doesn't go up every day. Well, if it was free market, it would. Or the mantle card doesn't go up every day. Rolex probably does. So you just got to realize there's ups and downs. There's a percentage, right? I'm going to pick 75% in baseball. So I'm going to lose 25%, or in football. So I'm going to lose 25%. Don't be naive. And I know what I'm doing, and I pick winners, but don't be naive that it's going to be 100%, and don't be naive that anybody's going to go 100%. Even Bertie Madoff, we found out, didn't go 100%. He didn't go anything. He never made the bets. So that's the key. Um, that's why I show my history. So I'm not Madoffing you. You can see the picks. You can see if you go to class, you'll hear the picks. If you just buy on site, you'll get the picks. And then you see the history. It's same picks. So the history, there's losers and there's winners and there's good weeks and there's bad weeks. But at the end of the day, we have more good weeks. And as we get more comfortable with the teams, we start betting more, and then we win. And that's how we do it. It's getting comfortable with the teams to understand the team. And that's really what we're looking at. Anyway, so that's baseball for today. I won't do football today. We went over it. I think this weekend is the Hall of Fame game, and then next weekend exhibition season starts. So we'll have fun with the box scores in the exhibition season. College starts the 24th of August. It's 1 month away. So we're excited about that. Other than that, we understand what's going on with people in the goal. See, they'll say, do your research. I'm not a financial like these guys. I am your financial advisor. I'm just your life advisor. But they will go and they will say, I'm not your financial advisor. Go learn on your own. Well, they're not capable of learning on their own. They don't know where to go for it. And there's east and west. Which one do you listen to? There's north and south. Which one do I listen to? So I'm telling you to listen to Austrian economics and Adam Smith. And I teach it and I explain it. Make it very simple. I keep the graphs out of it. But if you go and you try to learn it and you go to what? Warren Buffett, how to pick stocks? Well, he doesn't pick stocks. He buys 1,000,000 shares of Coke or Disney. He didn't do anything. He was smart that he figured that out to go to Coke and Disney and buy it. But I was watching an interview and he said, well, I used to pick stocks and, hope it went up and I lost a lot of money. And then he found out to buy the whole, to buy 1,000,000 shares of Coke. Well, that's not being a stock picker. That's just going on the tails of somebody that was very, finding a like, oh, I'll just buy 1,000,000 shares of Apple or Amazon or whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a great stock picker. So that's the problem is they'll tell you to go figure it out, but you can't. You don't know. So therefore, it makes it extremely difficult to figure it out, right? And that's the problem. So you don't know to figure it out, and there's nothing you can do. And anyway, that's the problem. And I'm not going to let you try to figure it out on your own. I'm here to help you figure it out, and that's the difference. Um, and the problem with like a Mark McGuire, he talks gibberish. Well, the ring fence casino and the chips and the this and the that. This, what the fuck's going on? Why are they still doing derivatives, Mark, if they're supposed to have been done? Why is there a big hit on derivatives? And why did it go from 2,500 to 2,400? Right? I mean, obviously it's not over. He's saying it's over. It's not. So we hope BRICS was supposed to go gold back in April. Now we hope it's October. So, yeah, again, it really doesn't matter because I know enough that the dollar's going out because they're printing it all. That was the Nazis' plan. We're going to print all these British pounds and just push them into London, and it causes heavy inflation, and the value of the British pound will be worthless. Or what the Brits did to the French, and they printed all these French francs in 1795 and dumped them into Paris, and then the franc was worthless. So we understand that, and the dollar's been printed to death. We understand that. And Alligator said something stupid like, it's I don't remember what he said. I don't know if it was, I don't know. He was barking up the wrong tree with some comment he made. Instead of it's printing the money is the inflation. It was I don't know, something was inflation. You're like, he doesn't understand, and I can't listen to him if he doesn't understand. And he says the same thing. China's not buying gold or dumping dollars. But what are they doing with the dollars? They're buying gold. Well, then they're buying gold. He's so stupid. It's not the gold going up, it's the dollar going down. It's not the dollar going down. The dollar's gone down. The dollar has no value. It's not going down anymore. And it is gold going up because of the demand. So he really doesn't get it. But I hate when they like yell, this is what's happening. And, they try to be dynamic and passionate. So, well, in that case, I'll believe you because you're yelling and passionate like all these politicians. It's the rich and the corporations that don't pay taxes. And he's, oh, well, I'll believe you because you said that, because you said it passionately or you yelled it. I mean, yeah, you can sugarcoat it all you want. The rich pay taxes, the corporations pay taxes. You're a fucking communist, so shut the fuck up. That's the problem when you have communists trying to dictate stuff and then you listen to them thinking they know what they're talking about. The problem is most people don't know, and they're leaving them on alerts to figure it out. And the only place they can go is to a financial advisor or stockbroker who will never tell them to go into gold. So they won't get it because there's no value in gold. The financial advice, 60% stock, 40% bonds. But how about when the dollar collapses? Oh, come on. It's not the petrodollar anymore, and everybody's de-dollarizing, and gold being picked up by the BRICS. How about that? Well, let's ignore that. We really don't know what the fuck that is because I'm just a salesman. I can't explain it. Or I love when the Keynesians try to argue with me, and they'll use Keynesian terms, and I go, I'm not a Keynesian. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's where I stay stoic. I know my shit. I know my shit. And if you start talking marginal propensity or inelastic crap that is Keynesian, I don't want to hear it because it's bullshit. But I know it's bullshit, so I stop. I don't talk Keynesian. When you want to have a real talk, we'll talk. When you want to explain why you don't like gold, I'll hammer you on it, or why you think you're in the stock market, or you don't think the dollar will collapse. We're the world reserve currency because more people buy it now, but it's dropping. So it's like it's like Ranger Suarez. He had a 170 ERA. Now it's 2.7, but really it's like 5 because from 1.7 to 2.7 means he's throwing 4 or 5 runs a game out. Now his ERA for the last 5 games is 5. He's not a 2.7, and that's the point. You don't mind like if the guy's going down, but that's the thing. So if it went from a 3 to a 2, then he's really a 1 because to lower it a point is the thing. And that's the thing with it. The fact that most people use the dollars because they got them, but they're getting rid of them. And that's the part they don't get. They're getting rid of the dollar. It's gone down from 80 to 50%. It's going further. There's no other currency they can do until BRICS comes out, the gold-backed currency in October. Then you'll see everybody fleeing for that. We're 5 steps ahead of the game, and these Keynesians are looking backwards, and they're going, well, gosh darn it, the thing's really, look, everybody uses the dollar. No, they don't. They're all de-dollarizing because we're going to sanction everybody. So you don't think China and Russia are pissed because they got sanctioned? Okay, we'll show you. We're going to come out with gold-backed currency, and you're fucked. And I'm sure the U.S. is pressuring them. We're going to nuke you and all this because they got nothing. And you can see the type of people they are. They're George Soros. They're trying to kill Trump. These are the type of people you have dealing with the Russians and Chinese. Oh, it's just a shame. Anyway, I think that's it. So we covered baseball, gold, economics, all the important stuff. I really wanted to do an economics yesterday, but I had to make dinner, and then I was just a little tired, and I figured I'd do it this morning. But since we covered baseball, I don't think I'll do anything unless something pops up. Let's take our last look at gold. It was going down, but it was 10 o'clock. Now it's 12, and that 10 o'clock drop should have ended, hopefully. And we're at 23.86. So you can see the derivative. So it starts at 7 o'clock, 24.08. They sell it. It starts coming back at 23.93 to 23.99. They do another one to 23.93. They do another one to 23.85. So they really want the gold price down. Every time it starts going up at 23.98 and here at 23.89, it keeps getting shoved down. I don't know if there's a holiday in the China or Europe or not where they're not buying it. But what this tells me is, oh, now I can buy it at 23.86 instead of 24.86. So that's really what happens. It's over 29.02, so it's holding 29. But gold, all it is a buying opportunity at 23.86. But I know it's hard because it's emotionally, you're like, we want the price to go to 10,000. We know that's where it's headed. And it's hard because of the derivatives. They're trying to get out. They're trying to keep the price down. So don't get flustered 23.86. We know it's derivatives because people want to buy it cheap. I don't even know what they're buying, how much is out there, but we will see. Anyway, that's what's going on, and in the gold world, baseball world, and just people in general. So again, the biggest problem with people, nobody understands this but us, what's going on with gold and Austrian economics, which is the only way to be. And so since nobody understands it, you must understand that they're being sold a bill of goods in Keynesian. So they're getting taught Keynesian or not at all. And they'll say, oh, no, the stock market's fine. The dollar's not collapsed. Like everybody's using the dollar. And they believe it because he's their financial advisor. There's like attack on Wall Street. Isn't that your job to look at the buildings and look at the houses? No, his job is to sell you this shit and get commission on it. That's his job, not to research the buildings. They don't give a shit about the building. The building, these are houses that have mortgages on them and they're bunching them together. And you're an idiot for putting 60 grand into it. And then you wonder why it goes out. It's your fault. You didn't know. You didn't know to ask, and they aren't going to tell you. So I don't know what to tell you. You got to find an Austrian economist. I'm right here. That's really the key to it, and that's really the problem. So um, most people don't know, and they don't know what they don't know, and you can't. If you go to if you go to the Keynesian for help, he can't help you. He'll put you in dollars. Well, we're just going to keep printing dollars. It's okay. They won't be inflated. Really? So again, that's the problem. The Austrians are the only way we know what's happening, and all the Keynesians always go to zero because they keep printing the dollars. But that's what they want. They want the market to be controlled by the government, not the individual. Because most of the Keynesians are government, and they're corrupt, and they want to have all the money, and they know that's how they do it. So anyway, that's really the point of it. So please be careful. And it's hard to teach yourself or to learn from Keynesians. You can't learn from your stockbroker or financial advisor. All right. You're not going to learn anything from them. They're not going to tell you this is paper gold. This is derivatives going down, not physical. I'm not going to tell you that because they don't know. They're just a bunch of salesmen trying to get you to buy things so they get commission. And you're thinking they're financial advisors, financial planners, stockbrokers. I mean, you're fucked because they'll never put gold in your portfolio. So that'd be the first question I'd ask any of these idiots. Or should I? What do you think of gold? Oh no, gold. Don't buy gold. Get up and leave. And you don't even need to ask them anymore. I'm giving you the golden answer. Here's the answer to the riddle. Buy gold. You can't lose with it. It's very limited and highly demanded, like our Rolexes and our Mantle cards. It will go up once we get a physical market, not a paper market, and it's controlled by the free market, not by the communist government setting the price. Once we get that, then it goes. And that's what I'm banking on, is that's what we're going to get. The government's trying to hold it, but you can see there's too much in a gold standard, and Russia, China, and there's too much gold that you can see it's going to go up with them, because the people who are running the government corruption is slowly dwindling, and they'll be out of it, but they're doing their best to try to hold it. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Have a wonderful day. Happy Monday. Go relax. I don't know. I might do a show later, but I'm going to go swim now, have lunch, and go from there. All right, everybody. Have a great day. www.teaserking.com. And take care, everybody. Have a nice day.